Hello everyone, welcome to Aviation Institute. In today's session, I'll be telling you all a complete syllabus or the complete idea for legal reasoning. Now, legal reasoning is a very important part in the preparation for CLAT examination because if you all are entering into this legal fraternity, then the most number of questions that will be asked will be based upon this legal reasoning. Before we get into the legal reasoning part, you should know that major subjects in this legal reasoning includes law of torts, law of contracts, law of crimes, and constitutional law. Then what are law of torts basically? In a very brief, I'm going to tell you all what are these law topics. To begin with, law of torts simply means any civil wrong that is committed. So if any civil wrong is committed, then we'll be looking into the detailings of the law of torts. The law of contracts, as the very word contract symbolizes, it includes agreements, then mercantile elements, because these are those laws which are based upon mercantile transactions. The third is law of crimes. Law of crimes is there because if there is any crime committed in the country, then that person will be prosecuted as per any section that is there under the Indian Penal Code 1860, or the procedure that is going to be followed will be as per the Code of Criminal Procedure, and even we have to see the Indian Evidences Act. So all these three major subjects in the law of crimes is mentioned in this topic. Then the fourth is constitutional law. Constitutional law is the supreme law of the land because this is that crux of this particular country without which this country cannot even function properly. Just like the heart and the soul is important in a body of a human being, constitutional law is a very, very important part in the country of India. Then, getting into the minor subjects, as we have discussed, the major subjects were law of contracts, law of torts, constitutional law, law of crimes. We also have to see these minor subjects as well, because as we know that most number of questions will be asked from the legal reasoning major subjects, we have to also look upon the minor subjects detailings as well. Family law. We all know that we are living in India, which is a secular country as per the constitution. So in family law, we need to study various laws that are Hindu laws, Muslim law, Parsi law, and even Special Marriages Act. The second is international law. International law is also a law which has a very wide ambit, but if you are entering for CLAT exam preparation, then we will be focusing upon only the brief and important part under the international law. We have IPR. Do you know the full form of IPR? It is intellectual property right. Intellectual property right is a very important topic in today's generation because everything today is either should be patented or copyright, or it should be design protected and etc. etc. So we have to know what is patent, what is copyright, what are Design Protections Act, what are trademarks, what is a trade license. So if we have to know about all the details, we have to study intellectual property rights. Environmental law. As we know that MC Mehta is a person who, through his skills of filing petitions and petitions of SLPs, and even he is so much focused upon environment, and we should all be focused upon environment क्योंकि स्वच्छता ही हमारा है पहचान. So environmental law is also very important if we have to get into this CLAT exam preparation, because environmental law gives us the insight about how we have to follow the sustainable development goals and what are the sustainable development goals, and we have to go on with these factors that how we should keep our country clean. We have to avoid pollution, as we are seeing that how the pollution of Delhi is degrading day by day. So we have to study environmental law for some insights about it. Then we have labor law. Labor law is also a very important topic in today's generation because as we know that labor laws gives those or makes us understand those rights and duties and privileges of human beings that most of us are unaware of, like how the environment should be there in a workplace, how a labor should behave, and what are the rights that is guaranteed to a employer and even an employee. So we have to get into these labor laws as well. Time management. As we have studied, or as we all now know, that what are the minor subjects, what are the major subjects, and since the most number of questions will be asked from the legal reasoning part, because we are entering upon a legal fraternity, and if we enter upon a legal fraternity, then we must know the insights or the facts about law. So how are we going to manage? Because it is for those students who have just passed class 12, or who are appearing for class 12, or even who are in class 9, 10, 11, and they are all having this inquisitiveness of getting themselves, I know, to make your head held high as a lawyer. Then you should start from today, because practice makes a man perfect, and a person is never delayed. Like, it is better if you start from beginning, and it's also never too late. So time management is very, very important if you have to know what is law. And if you want to study the legal reasoning part, then you have to make schedules. Now you can make daily schedules, you can make monthly schedules, and you can even make weekly schedules. Now for daily schedules, for the persons who are going to school, or who have work at home, or who are working from home, and who are engaged into various other activities and are having a very busy schedule, then let me tell you all then that you all can even make daily schedules. Like, you can just draw 1 or 2 hours of your time from your daily schedule, and you can put yourself into this legal, or the legal reasoning part, or you can even study, or you can even read anything which is related to law. So we'll get into how you all will be managing your daily schedule, but it's just for your insight in a very brief that I'm telling you all that you have to make a daily schedule of doing something from the legal reasoning part, okay, to be updated. Then we have the weekly schedule. Now the weekly schedule is somewhat like, managing the whole daily schedules. Like, if you all are making Monday to Saturday, if you are preparing for something, or you're having a preparation for something, then at the end of the week, that is on Sunday maybe, you can accumulate all the information, all the practices, all the detailings, all the notes into one particular notebook, and you all can see that what is your progress, what was your that week's progress. So this is a weekly schedule in a very brief that I'm telling you all. Then the monthly schedule. Now what is a monthly schedule? Monthly schedule is nothing but what you all are preparing for weeks, that you have to accumulate, and you have to make it a sum into a monthly schedule. For example, in the first week, you all have studied the basic elements of contracts. In the second week, you all have studied what are agreements, what are contracts, how to distinguish between them. Then in the third week, you all have studied what are the relevant case laws based upon the very basics of contracts and agreement. And the fourth week, you all have studied the latest amendment, the latest news. So in the monthly schedule, you all can take out any one day, for example the 30th or the 31st of that particular month, and you all can test yourself. How will you all test yourself? You all can test yourself by solving question papers of last year's CLAT entrances or various other entrances, and you all can see based upon that subject, or based upon the area that you have been practicing or making notes. So you can make a monthly progress, or make a monthly schedule that you have done these things in that particular month. This will help you to know yourself better, that in what situation or in which stage you have landed up in the legal reasoning part. Okay, so now we'll get into this next slide, that is day-to-day study. Now in daily schedule, obviously it is very important to have day-to-day study, but for many of y'all, I can understand that y'all are not getting time to withdraw some of your precious time for your CLAT exam preparation. But I think these things can make you easy, like reading. In our day-to-day schedule, like in a daily basis, we can all read. Nowadays, all our informations are given in our Android mobiles. So even, you all can read news in your mobile phones. You all can be updated, because many of the relevant details, or the relevant news based upon law or legal field is there as a news in your Android mobiles, when you all can go for the daily updates. Okay, so you all have to read. Now you have to make your own notes. Now making your own notes will be a little difficult, but I can tell you all how you all can make it easy. For example, if you all are studying law of contracts, and if you all have to focus upon the history and the origin of contract, then you all can make your own notes. For example, if you all are referring to in contract act, if you all are referring to mercantile law or mercantile elements under ND Kapoor, there is a book. Like this is just an example. So you all have studied that the origin and history of contract. Now you can make your own self-summarized notes, like just the important highlighting or just the important part or just the gist of it that can make you easily remember. Okay, apart from reading the chapter, you can even make a summarized note and highlight them. So at the end, when you can just roll on your pages and just see that what are the highlighted parts, you'll just get to know that okay, like this was the origin of Indian Contract Act, and this is how it came, and this was the important part that we need to remember. Okay, then select a topic. Selecting topic is very important, because like this topic selection tells you all that how much you all have covered and how much is left. I would be telling you all, if you all would be like listening to me, and if you want my opinion, then you should always take up easy topics first. Okay, like take up the starting. Obviously the easy topics come in the beginning of the any subject, so you go from the very beginning. Okay, go from the very beginning. Select topics, like select the first chapter for the first day. Come over with it. Like if you are getting not, if you're not able to complete it in 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, take your time. Take your time, complete the chapter, then proceed towards the next chapter. So this is how you have to select your topic. Selection of topic is also very important. So you have to make this point also. You have to keep this point in your mind. Then divide the subtopics. Now division of subtopics is also very important, because if you are just focusing upon that topic and if you're not getting into the detailing of that particular topic, then it will give you no profit. Okay, so if you're studying any topic, you have to go into the depths of it, especially for the minor like the major subjects I'm talking, not the minor, the major subjects that I'm talking about, is that you have to get into the detailings of that particular topic. So like we have to divide, for that you have to divide the subtopics also. So like when we'll be getting into, like in my session, I'll be starting from the law of contracts. So you'll get to know that how I'm beginning with a new chapter, and then how I'm going and dividing the subtopics and explaining you all in the best possible way. That way you all can follow, and then that will give you an encouragement to proceed further. Okay, then you have the mark the important parts. I personally keep a highlighter, okay, or a text liners with me, because this the highlighting part gives me a very important vibe that I remember it. For example, if there is one para that I have to remember, maybe I can just highlight one line, and by remembering that line, I can write the entire paragraph in my own words. Okay, so you all can even do that. You all can just remember the points, and you all can even write the entire paragraph in your own words. Okay, then this next part is obviously highlighting, but even if you are marking the important parts, you can just even tick. Like when we used to study these things, what we used to do is that we used to just mark first the important parts, and then when we used to study those important parts, like if there were 6 points for example, then we used to mark 4 points that were very 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 important. 4 points we had marked, like just the tick mark. And then when we were focusing upon those 4 points, we used to highlight those words, those lines, and those those 2-3 lines, just to make us remember more appropriately. So this is how marking and highlighting is done. The last part, research. Now what is this research? You all must be thinking that, ma'am, when everything is there in the book, there in the newspaper, then what do we have to research more upon? Like just we are preparing for a CLAT exam preparation and you are asking us to research. Then I have to remind you all that if you all are entering into this legal fraternity, then research is a never ending process. You have to research by its very term, research. फिर से सर्च करो, मतलब you have to make your own critics. Okay, if you're studying any topic, you have to give your own comments, you have to make your own research, you have to know that what were the different comments that was passed by different authors, what were the cases, what were the guidelines, what is the transformation, what was the change that brought about this change, and how is the change that is aroused in these years since the law has been passed or since the law has been made. These are very relevant research because many a times there can be questions as such in CLAT that would be based upon in the drastic changes in the society, like if there were any amendments, major amendments, any landmark cases based upon that topic. So those questions might also arise. So based upon those questions, I'm asking you all to research. And I personally believe that self research, self tutoring yourself is better. Even if I explain you, even if I guide you, you have to make your own notes, you have to do your self study, you have to take some time for yourself. Okay, and I'm sure that in 1 hour, if we are looking upon the day-to-day schedule, 1 hour will be quite enough for you all to complete this weekly study. Now, if we are focusing upon this weekly study, then you all should know that revision is the core element for weekly study. Like, as we have discussed, if we are dividing topics, if we are dividing subtopics in a day-to-day analysis, we have completed 4 chapters, for example. So now is the time for revise. So what was the first chapter all about? What was the second chapter all about? What was the third chapter all about? We have to do under revision. Learning doesn't only mean ratifying, which means that you have to learn and remember each and every word that is there. Learning is depending upon yourself. How are you remembering those topics? I'm not telling you all to just make yourself as like a parrot. You have to revise everything, you have to know everything, you have to memorize everything. No, it depends upon you, how you learn, how you keep these important elements in your mind, how much you're confident in yourself. So you have to learn only those parts which are necessary. For example, if you're knowing just one particular point, okay, then you can write the entire paragraph in your own words, provided if you know what was that point all about, and you're capable enough to write that entire paragraph in your own words. So learning depends upon you. I never insist my students to go for memorization or to go for ratifying. Never. Learning depends upon yourself, okay, or myself. If I can ratify an entire book, I will ratify, but provided ratifying is not enough, you have to know what is there that you're ratifying. So understanding the topic and going ahead with that topic is very important. Okay, then mock question practice. Again, mock question practice you all can get from the previous year question papers, but if you are coming with us or if you're getting preparation from Avision Institute, then we prepare mock question papers, we prepare mock sample papers, we check those answers, we prepare questions which have not been prepared earlier, we we test the skills of the students, and based upon the students we guide them in that particular way. So mock question practice is also very important for your weekly schedule. Test yourself, I think, includes in this mock question practice. If you all are practicing, at the end when you are checking your answers, you all can get an idea that in which position you are standing. Okay, so this is for the weekly study. Monthly check. Revise the areas that are covered. We have to revise the entire areas. For example, if we have completed law of torts in this 1 month, okay, so we have to know that is there anything left or not in that particular topic. So we have to revise. Then we have to make a detailed research upon it, that what are the recent cases, what was the landmark cases, then in which position or in which place we are standing right now. Like for example, if any one of you or if anyone like in the anybody who asks us that what is a tort and from where did this word tort arise, then you all can know the entire thing, that okay, the law of tort it means it is any civil wrong, or the word is derived from a Latin word that is totum, which means to twist or something like that. You need to know. Okay, so the detailing research and the detailed revision is very important. Then you have to connect the topic with the current affairs. I know it is very difficult to connect the topic that you're studying with the current affairs, but once you start studying, no, you'll get this idea of connection. Even connection can be done based upon the real life incidents as well. For example, if we are studying contract law, for example, and then if you're studying contract law, then there are certain clauses when we are studying, we get to know, okay, my father entered upon a contract. For example, my father entered upon a contract. He had made this clause in his agreement. Once I was reading, okay, so that is important. I didn't knew it before. So these are the questions that come in your mind when you start studying law, because law is nothing but what it is to keep a check of the society. So it is quite obvious for you to connect these topics with the today's scenario, with today's current affairs, obviously. So y'all will be getting the connection very much. Like in my classes also, when I'll be telling y'all, or when I'll be entering upon these subjects, y'all will have this idea of connection. And for my more interactive classes, if y'all want to attend, then y'all can even the detailings are given in this video below. Y'all can contact Avision, get into our classes. We have live sessions, we have interactive classes, so that we can also know your opinion about the current situation. Okay, then to solve previous year question modules. Previous year question modules are very important, because this gives you an idea that what sort of questions will be coming for CLAT examination. And when you all are giving your CLAT examination, that somewhat some way reduces or eradicates the fear that is there inside you. So that fear is eradicated, because you all will be used to practice these questions, or like problem based questions. So if you all are not having that particular practice of solving a problem based question in an MCQ, then when you'll be first seeing the CLAT question paper on the day of your CLAT examination, you'll be like, how am I going to do it? But if you all are having that practice from before, then I'm sure that you'll be quite composed with it. So like, this is very important to solve the previous year question papers, to keep a check upon yourself also, and to even have a practice of how to give your CLAT examination on the day of your CLAT examination. Relevant books and sources. For English, I would refer Wren and Martin. This is just for reference, okay? Very common authors, very basic books these are, but I personally do not refer these books, but this is just for the video that I am saying these things, because I have to give you all any source of book, since you all are not attending my physical or offline classes. But I'm sure that with these books and with my notes, we'll be able to crack the CLAT examination 2023. So for English, as per my knowledge, you all can refer Wren and Martin. It is an excellent book written by them. This will improvise your English. If you all are having any difficulties in English, then for English, Wren and Martin is absolutely the go book. Then R.S. Agarwal would be for your quantitative reasoning. Then we have our live classes there. Our live classes are there in our official Avision channel. Then YouTube sessions, that is the way we are having sessions right now, the way I'm giving you all my lectures in this mode. We have this YouTube session, we have offline classes that is there. If you want to take my classes by coming to my classes physically, then you all can come to us. You all can visit to our you can visit to us in Avision, and here you can have this offline classes facility. We can have this interactive classes. We even have a library where you can get numerous number of books. All those books are written by our faculty members, which will not only improvise your skill but enhance your knowledge upon these topics as well. Then notes are given by our faculty members, who are just profound in their knowledge, and even you all can have a chance to make your own notes and show us to the teachers, like what notes you all have written, because it is very important to keep a check. Because if you all are, for some of you all who are just beginners who are writing your notes, it is important for you to know that what sort of notes you all are writing. So notes, we have to keep a check upon it. Even we provide notes. Then Ambition published Guide to CLAT Examination. We have a guide towards to crack CLAT examination. We have a book here. So if you all are coming and joining with this institute, then you all can get an opportunity to get this guide book, and even those necessary preparation tricks and strategies how to crack CLAT in your first attempt. So this was it. With this, I would also like to tell you all, thank you so much for attending my session. And with this session, I'm quite sure that with time management, with relevant books and sources, and the information that I've just given you all in this session, you all will be easily able to crack CLAT with confidence. So stay tuned for my next session. Thank you.